So this video is not going to be scripted. It's not going to be edited much. I may I may slip up and accidentally say names that I don't really want to reveal, um, just for the sake of the privacy of the people that I know in person. Um, but I'm not going to cut out any pauses or ums, just because I think to me at least, it's a little bit more sincere that way, I suppose. So, this is the story of how I was falsely accused of sexual assault in high school, and how just over 2 years later, it's still very much affecting me. Um, I'm making this public largely because, well, it is mostly meant for just my friends to see, um, so I can stop telling the story to people that haven't heard about it before and who want to know. But I think I think this could be a good story to hear for just random people out there. It's a cautionary tale of what not to do when you're 16 and kind of stupid. So, in order to explain what happened, I'm gonna need to go back to when I was in 7th grade, and I met this person on my school bus who I will call Shitass because I'm not gonna reveal their name. Um, I'm not gonna say anyone's names beyond my own, my name being Tim, in case you didn't know that. So, Shitass and I were on the same bus. I was in 7th grade, they were in 6th grade. So, we were a year apart. And we got along quite well. We became pretty close friends, and we stayed close friends up through through my senior year of high school. But things things started to get weird when, in my junior year of high school, I was speaking to them about the person that I was dating at the time. For some added context, Shitass was, and maybe still is, I don't know, rather someone who rather openly spoke about sexual topics and their own sexual interests, and it never made me uncomfortable, but I was kind of curious about it. Like, I am someone who has never really explored his own sexuality much. I know I'm bisexual, but I haven't really done anything sexual with any of the partners that I've had. It's just never really been a part of any relationship I've been in, and so I've always been somewhat curious about it. And with this person that I was dating, we were both kind of looking to add that sort of element to our relationship, and they were generally on the submissive side, I suppose. So I asked Shitass about it, who was also on the submissive side, and whereas I'm not, I should clarify. So I asked them, what kind of stuff do you like your partners to do with you, in regards to submission? And they had said a few things. They told me the kind of things that they like, and they, at one point, I should clarify, this was on the bus, the dismissal bus, so we were going home. At one point during the bus ride, while we were talking about this, shit ass had said, well, would you like to try some of this stuff on me? Now, my partner and I were in an open relationship at the time. I should clarify, I'm no longer with this person, and I haven't been since early on in my senior year of high school. Shit ass had said, would you like to try some of this on me? And I thought, well, I'm in an open relationship with my partner. Shit ass knew that. And so I said, all right, sure, I suppose it's, oh God, I suppose it's good to get some practice in. That was my mindset. You know, figure out kind of how best to do it, and then do it with my partner. And it was pretty mild stuff. People have done worse things on school buses. I think at one point someone, when I was in middle school, someone had like drawn something on the bus walls with like actual shit. I don't know how, but it's pretty gross. I don't know who did it. May have been one of the high schoolers. I have no idea. But I believe I said this, but I may not have. I was in junior year at this point. And yeah, I think I said it. But we were, nothing we did was especially explicit. They explained how to, you know, pin someone against a wall in a silly manner, and I did as such. They encouraged me to grope them, and I did. There were a couple other things that I'm not going to say because I'd rather not, but they were a bit more explicit, but that was about it. And then we did it again the next day, and then we stopped. And I suppose we had like a sort of unspoken agreement to not talk about it. It was a thing that was between us, and that was okay. We're fine. It's all right. And everything went back to normal. I want to make it very clear that they initiated it. Shit-ass initiated it. And we had a rather long conversation about consent beforehand. Not long, probably about a minute or two. I don't remember exactly. It was 3 years ago. A little under 3 years, I think. Towards the beginning of my senior year, I broke up with that person that I was with at the time, and about a month later I started dating someone new, which is, I think, a little soon to start dating someone, but it just sort of happened, and that relationship was good while it lasted about a year, but I swear that's relevant. So I'd been hearing some things about shit ass throughout the beginning of my senior year that I didn't quite want to believe, because I don't like to lose friends very much. It's kind of an awful feeling. And I was like, well, I trust them. I don't really believe any of these things. Even though, looking back, they were always a weird person. Obviously, someone who initiates, that on a fucking school bus of all places was... Of course, I don't think I went along with it, but... So I'd been hearing some things that I won't say, but basically they were just being a dick, and just being kind of weird and a little creepy, and I didn't really want to talk to him about it. And then they started faking symptoms of dissociative identity disorder. For those of you who don't know, it was formerly called multiple personality disorder. Now it's dissociative identity disorder, also known as DID, which is what I'll be calling it for the rest of the video, because it's just easier to say. So they acted as though they were progressing through DID. They developed one alter, and then the next week they had 4, and then the next week 10, and then a couple months after that, I think well over 100 is the number that they gave. And that's not how it works. They were 15 at the time. 16, sorry. You don't suddenly start showing symptoms of DID at 16 years old. So I kind of knew it was bullshit, but I kind of left it alone. I didn't talk about it much. I'm not a very confrontational person. I don't, especially with friends, with people that I consider friends. I don't generally like to, I don't like making my friends upset. And the best way to avoid that, in my experience, is to just avoid confronting them about bad things that they're doing. And I've gotten better about that, but in high school I was pretty shitty at it. So at one point, right after Technoblade died, again, I swear it's relevant, either a day or two after Technoblade died, shit-ass sits down in the seat across the aisle from mine on the school bus, and they say, "Hi, my name is Technoblade." So I get home, and instead of doing my homework, I do a bunch of research into DID. I figure out, just to confirm that I'm correct. Because if I am wrong, then, I'd feel awful about that forever. It'd be a kind of shitty thing to do to someone with DID, who actually has DID. And yeah, they were faking it. Their symptoms did not align with actual symptoms of DID. I found a delusion, a type of delusion, where someone believes, fully believes, that they have dissociative identity disorder when they don't. And I was thinking, well, maybe that's what shit-ass has. Because they don't have DID. So, in the morning, I should clarify, shit-ass and I were also good friends with another person on our bus, who I will call Max, not their real name. And so Max was not on the bus this morning, but they were on the bus later. So I'm alone speaking to shit-ass about this, trying to tell them that, like, hey, you don't have DID, you may have this type of delusion. You may think you have DID, but you probably don't. And so I text Max, and they're like, okay, yeah, I'll talk to them as well on the bus home. And now we're both on the bus home talking to shit-ass about it. I believe this is Monday the 28th. I may be wrong though. No, it's Friday. Regardless, yeah, I think it was towards the end of the second to last week of November. Monday the 28th rolls around. I get on the bus. Everything's fine in the morning. And on the bus ride home, I get asked by shit-ass and Max, Tim, are you a sexual deviant? It was a very out-of-nowhere question that I wasn't sure how to answer. Their reasoning was that occasionally I would ask shit-ass questions about their personal perspective on sex. And that was because at the time they were my most knowledgeable friend on that subject, and I was naive and weird as a kid. And I did just want to know more about it. And, well, I probably could have Googled it. It was just easier to ask them. I explained that, and they're like, okay, that makes sense. The next day is fine, but I have this weird feeling that something's about to go wrong. Something's fucky. I'm thinking to myself, man, wouldn't it be awful if I got falsely accused of sexual assault? Like, as I was going to bed on Tuesday, I was thinking that to myself. I wake up the next morning, school day goes by fine. I get home, and after on a Boy Scout meeting, I was the senior patrol leader of my local troop. For the boys' troop, there were two troops within one troop, 528B and 528G. Funnily enough, the G troop's senior patrol leader was actually a trans guy who was, at the time, stuck in the G troop, though he did move to the B troop. He's cool. I really like him. He's great. But I was the senior patrol leader. And I was about to run a meeting. I was about to leave to go to the middle school. I had to go to the middle school for an hour beforehand because my mother runs a community orchestra rehearsal, and I get a community orchestra in the area, and I had to get a ride with her. So I'm stuck at the middle school for an hour. So right before I'm about to leave for the middle school, literally minutes, I'm not looking at my phone, but I look down. Like, I'm not looking at my phone for a while because I'm getting ready to go. But I look down at the desk that I'm sitting at right now. I think my phone was either here or here. I have a slidey keyboard thing. I look and I see like 5 missed calls from Max. and a bunch of texts. I open my texts and I see, like, Tim, answer me, and I scroll up a little bit and I see Tim, and this is all in all caps, by the way, every single text. Tim, shit ass says you groped them. And I all of my brain cells fucking exploded. I felt like I was having a heart attack. It was awful. And then I have to leave. And I have to tell Max, like, listen, I can't talk now. I'm about to leave. I can explain everything in, like, a few minutes. And they're like, you fucking better explain everything. So when I get to the middle school, I tell them, listen, what they said is partially true. I did grope them. And I should clarify, they said, like, you groped them non-consensually. Like, that was what they had said to me. And I was like, no. So I say, listen, we did do something silly, but it was fully consensual. My partner and I were in an open relationship at the time. It was okay with my partner, it was okay with shit ass. We had a conversation about this, and then Max goes, so you're telling me not to believe the victim? And I say, in this case, yes. And then I tell the story, the same story that you just heard. And they said, okay, I believe you. I asked them if they told anyone else. They said that they told another close friend of ours, and they'd also told my boyfriend at the time, who they were also close friends with. I ran the Boy Scout meeting. I was barely keeping it together. I get home, I can't sleep, and when I wake up, I can't get out of bed. I can't go to school. For like the rest of the week, I can't go to school. I'm able to get out of bed to, like, eat and stuff, but I spend most of the time sitting down. I remember I was playing some fucking GTA online for a bit. At one point, I tried to start Stardew Valley, because that's a very calming game. I started a new playthrough, and then the grandfather died, and I almost started fucking crying. Those first 2 days, I was spiraling into the deepest depression that I've ever been in. I spent the rest of December kind of wanting to kill myself. I'd spoken to shit-ass about it the night that it had happened, the night that they told Max, and the conclusion that I came to at the time was, well, maybe we just remember it differently. Of course, that's not true, because the fact that I remember having it... Listen, my memory's not perfect, but it's good enough to know for certain that it was 100% consensual. I know that. I know we had a conversation about it. I know that they encouraged me to continue on multiple occasions. At no point did they ever express any discomfort, and I'm good at picking up on that. I should clarify. I'm not clueless when it comes to this sort of thing. So the next month, I am depressed, I'm suicidal. Clearly I didn't kill myself, but I was genuinely considering it. Hadn't told either of my parents, but my dad, I think, knew. Parents just know sometimes, you know. And he tells me, unprompted during a conversation on the phone when I'm talking to him, He goes, listen, suicide is the ultimate selfish act. I'm like, well, how? And he explains, well, there are people that you care about who also care about you. And if you care about them, you're not going to make them, miserable by completely ridding yourself by removing yourself from their existence. Care about them enough to let them care about you. And I agree. I don't think other people do, because I've expressed this sentiment before, and they're like, oh, suicide isn't selfish. But I think it is. I think, because it fucks with everyone around you. It does. If you kill yourself, everyone that you care about, if they care about you as well, I mean, they're gonna be pretty fucking miserable about it. So I didn't. I probably wouldn't have anyway, but that was when I made up my mind about it, that I wouldn't do it. And the reason I wanted to was because I felt like such an awful person. Because I thought maybe we were, maybe, like part of me thought that maybe they were right. Maybe I was misremembering it. Maybe their side of the story was the accurate one. And I fucking hated myself for it. I did. Part of me saw myself as a monster, and a smaller part of me still does. I don't hate myself anymore, but there is this lingering doubt in my mind. What if I did do it? And that hasn't gone away, and I don't know if it ever will go away. And that's the main thing. If my social reputation was ruined, but I firmly 100% knew that I didn't do it, I don't think it would have been as bad for me. Now, of course, if both things had happened, if my social reputation was fucked and my internal perception was fucked, then I probably would have just killed myself regardless of what my dad had said. But luckily, it didn't spread beyond beyond those 4 people. Shit-ass, Max, close mutual friend, and my boyfriend at the time. And luckily, the close friend, and neither the close friend nor my boyfriend knew. Or not knew, believed that I was capable of such a thing. Because I've always expressed... But of course, listen, I want to clarify. Someone may not seem capable of doing something monstrous like what I was accused of, but they can. Like, everyone's capable of it. Or everyone could be capable of it, I should say. So, if someone you know doesn't seem capable of it, but someone says that this person did it, unless that person that you know who doesn't seem capable of it, unless they can explain what happened in a way that matches up better than the other person's story, than the accuser's story, then you should probably just believe the accuser. In this case, I'm the victim. For a while, I didn't see myself as the victim, but I am. Because I was falsely accused of doing something awful, and that does make me the victim in this situation. Regardless, yeah, I guess I'm glad that they didn't believe I was capable of it, because that made explaining it a lot easier, but I think Max had the right mindset. But I do really appreciate that all 3 of them, my closest friends at the time um, stood by me and didn't spread it. They let me tell who I wanted to tell, and I did. I told some people during that month, and you know, it was known. It's part of my backstory now, but they kind of let me spread my side of the story at my own pace. And luckily, shit ass didn't tell anyone either, probably because they knew they didn't really have any ground to stand on. There was also some drama about it later on in my senior year, but it's not really that important. It just, the middle schooler sibling of Max ended up like sending shit ass a DM on Discord, basically telling them off, and like shit ass tried to get them in trouble, and I got approached by the fucking school guidance counselor about it. Very nice woman. I got very mad. And during that conversation with the guidance counselor, actually, I had asked, like, how long do they keep records of, like, how long do they keep recordings of like, school bus security cameras? And apparently it's only a week, which is fucking, like, that's crazy. Because if something happens on the bus and you don't find out about it until, like, over a week later, like, you're just not gonna fucking know who did it. So, yeah. But so, like, shit ass didn't have any legal ground to stand on. My story matched up better than theirs did. They didn't try anything, like, through legality. They didn't really spread it because they didn't really have anyone else that they could spread it to, because they were largely seen as, like, kind of untrustworthy, which is true. They aren't a very trustworthy person. So, yeah. I'm still affected by this. A lot. I can't really touch people anymore. Probably one person, and that's like my best friend, Lewis. He's great. Lewis, if you're watching this, I love you, man. You're awesome. The other person that I could, like, actually, like, make any sort of physical contact with at all, besides handshakes. Handshakes I'm okay with anyone. I'm not exactly sure why. But I just like handshakes. But beyond that, like, I just can't at all. I mean, like, obviously I physically can. I could force myself to tap someone on the shoulder, but then my whole hand would feel, like, awful for, like, 2 hours. This lingering, shitty feeling that would just last for a very long time. Hugs are the worst. Hugs are awful. I can't do hugs. Unless I'm, like, I can't even hug Lewis. Unless I'm in a romantic relationship with someone, then I'm not able to hug them. Like, even family. The only person who I will, like, tolerate hugging is probably my grandmother, but that's because, like, even her, I get that lingering feeling and this huge, like, burst of anxiety. But, like, this wave of anxiety, this very, very strong anxiety, and that comes from hugging anyone. But I kind of tolerate it with her, and that's because she's, you know, she's my grandma. She's old. I don't know how much longer she's gonna be here, and I want her to know that I appreciate her. But even, like, with anyone else in my family, I want to, and I feel really bad when I can't. But it's an issue that I am working to get past. But I don't think I could ever forgive shit-ass for this. My younger sibling is in high school. Sometimes shit-ass will talk to them, and if I hear about it, I get very upset. One time they called me weird in front of my younger sibling to one of the hall monitors, and I mean, I got really mad. I was like, you can't. I didn't tell them that. I can't talk to them. Because I think they're, like, I have them blocked on everything. I think they have me blocked on a couple things, because they blocked me, they blocked me after the November 30th, 2022 incident, which is the whole incident that this entire video is about, but I should clarify. Yeah, but I was mad, and I think I'll be mad every single time, because I mean, they ruined me. I'm doing better now, but I still can't touch people. It's actually getting worse, the whole aversion to touch. Like, it's actually getting worse. Like, as time goes on, that feeling gets more intense. People have told me that it might be PTSD, but I haven't gotten that diagnosed yet. I'm still not seeing a therapist about this. I probably should, but oh well. For now, that's about really all I have to say. A false sexual assault accusation, an actual false sexual assault accusation, because there are a lot of people out there that'll say that their accusations are false. Most of the time, it's not true. The vast majority of the time, the victim is telling the truth. I happen to be one of the very rare cases where it was completely false. And yet, I still feel a level of guilt and shame beyond anything that I have ever felt. And that's not going to go away. And if you're in a similar boat, then you know what I mean. And if you've done this to someone, if you have falsely accused someone of sexual assault, and you're watching this, then I think you should know what you've done to them. Some people don't recover as much as I have. Sometimes it sticks with them. The guilt, it sticks with them more than it stuck with me. It's an awful thing to do to someone. I think sexually assaulting someone is worse. Personally, this was more of a social violation, whereas sexual assault is a physical violation. Although I've heard, I know people who have been assaulted in that way who have said that what happened to me was worse, but although I guess thinking about it, neither of them are really worse than the other. They're both violations. And they will both leave you very fucked up afterwards. For now, I guess, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to what I had to say. If you have any questions, like if you're watching this and you don't know me, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer them. If you have a similar story, then and you want to share it, then go ahead. If you do know me, then like I appreciate you watching this. I mean, I appreciate it regardless. But yeah, I think it's good. This is probably the most detailed version of the story I've told anyone ever. Aside from maybe one person who I've told pretty much like every detail that I've said here, but that was over the course of like almost a year. But yeah, for now, thank you. Have a good day, and don't die in your sleep. Don't do it. It's not healthy for you.